Remember summer holidays in your childhood, spent on the living room couch, playing video games with your friends? Remember Road Rash, Super Mario, Contra, Street Fighter? Well, that stuff really grew up.
Hi guys, myself Harshit Mahajan and my gamer tag is MJ.
My name is Sensei.
मेरा रियल नाम तो निशान सिंह लसपाल है and I'm Apollo and I play for Team Revenant.
Kash plays online, but my real name is Kashvi Hiranandani.
This is Saloni and many of you know me as Milika Mili.
I am Animesh Agarwal. I go by the name 8-bit thug in the gaming industry.
I'm 24 year old. काफ़ी टाइम से खेल रहा हूँ. I guess 4 to 5 years हो गए. आजकल क्या है कि बहुत सारे टूर्नामेंट्स होते हैं, एक ख़त्म हुआ नहीं कि आपको दूसरा स्टार्ट हो गया.
My age is 25 years. मेरे को ऐसा है कि मेरे को compete करना और 2-3 साल और मिनिमम.
तो एक एड्रेनलिन रश मिलता है.
So I've been a gamer all my life. I feel like people really haven't discovered how cool and fun gaming can be.
प्राइज मनी अभी जो करंटली चल रहा है, उस फर्स्ट प्राइस अभी तक हाईएस्ट 1 CR गया है.
स्ट्रीमिंग डील्स वगैरह किसी को मिलती है, ब्रांड डील्स और प्राइस पूल अलग जो टूर्नामेंट्स खेलते हैं, ये सब.
हर एक अंडरगॉड्स वही चीज़ सोचता है कि वो एक बार आके अपने कंट्री को रिप्रेजेंट करे ग्लोबल स्टेज पे.
कोई भी आपकी पोजीशन छीन सकता है. अगर आज आप अच्छे हो तो कल कोई और मेहनत करके आपसे ज़्यादा अच्छा खेल सकता है.
These are good times to be a gamer in India. In the last decade or so, video games have transitioned from a mere form of entertainment for kids and young adults to a $3 billion industry.
India is the fastest growing gaming market in the world. Indians consumed 15 billion gaming apps last year. We estimate there are about 560 million gamers in the country, which is nearly, 60% of India's smartphone population. We're an industry which is clocking about $3 billion of revenue, and we're expecting to grow to about $7.5 billion of revenue over the course of the next 5 years or so. It could be faster.
As gaming became esports, and as the craze for games like Call of Duty, PUBG, and later BGMI and Valorant exploded, gaming tournaments attained the popularity of an IPL or an NFL.
If I talk about the esports industry just in India, over 2022, the prize pools for Indian events were bigger than IPL.
The margins roughly are around 25 to 30% on the entire business.
2019 was our most successful year in esports. There were 4 tournaments, we won all of them.
Their young players got out of living rooms and nondescript gaming parlors and attained cult status. Along with that status came millions of followers on social media and crores of rupees in salaries and endorsements.
Some of our creators, like a Mortal Scout, raking in $1 million to $1.5 million every year is not a big deal.
But the industry's challenges could be somewhat life-limiting. The short shelf life of players, the trolling many face on a daily basis, especially the few female players in the circuit, the mental trauma and pressures of gaming too much, the vagaries of social media. For example, streaming has seen a steep decline after its massive spurt during COVID. And of course, there's lack of infrastructure, which limits the growth and exposure of thousands of talented players, especially in the smaller cities of the country. In this episode, my colleague Himanshi Lochab and I take you to a gaming house. We talk to the game's best players, meet the most successful entrepreneurs in this business, and rope in a venture fund with numbers, trends, and the laws around the gaming industry. Welcome to the life of a gamer. It's December the 14th. I'm your host Anirban Chaudhary, and this is the Morning Brief.
So, Sensei, what's your story?
That's Himanshi with Deepak Negi, aka Sensei, the captain of one of India's most successful esport teams.
तो एक्चुअली गेम्स वगैरह तो मैं काफ़ी पहले से खेलता था बचपन से. एंड फिर उसके बाद मैं जब कॉलेज गया, इंजीनियरिंग कर रहा था मैं बीटेक, तो मुझे पता लग गया इसमें तो कुछ नहीं होगा मेरा आगे, तो बेटर भी कि मैं गेम वगैरह कुछ खेलूं, क्योंकि तब स्टार्टिंग में आया था और थोड़े बहुत पैसे अर्न कर रहे थे. तो मैंने सोचा एटलीस्ट पॉकेट मनी के लिए से खेल लेता हूँ. मैंने खेलना शुरू करा, थोड़े बहुत पैसे कमाए, और जब मुझे पता लगा कि इसमें तुम्हें एक सैलरी मिल सकती है अच्छी खासी, तो व्हाई नॉट टू ट्राई दिस. तो मैंने वहाँ से खेलना शुरू करा. 4-5 साल तो हो गए मुझे. और घर वालों ने जो सपोर्ट करा नहीं करा, एक्चुअली मतलब सपोर्ट नहीं करा ऐसे नहीं बोल सकता मैं। मेरी मॉम बहुत चिल थी, उन्हें पता था ये जो भी करेगा अच्छा ही करेगा। और जो मेरे डैड हैं उनको कुछ फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता कि मतलब कुछ भी कर, मुझे नहीं, बस अपना पेट पाल लियो।
What about you, MJ? आपने भी कॉलेज में स्टार्ट किया खेलना. I know you have played a lot of PUBG.
एक्चुअली कॉलेज लाइक सेकेंड ईयर के स्टार्टिंग में हमारे हॉस्टल में बोला था, हॉस्टल में था उस टाइम पे मैं, कि ये गेम बैन है, खेलना हॉस्टल में भी अलाउड नहीं है। सो बट फिर भी मैं खेलता था। वो इतना एडिक्टेड हो गया था, मतलब वो इतना वायरल हो चुका पबजी वाले उस टाइम पे, तो लोग बोल रहे थे कि इसको खेलना बंद करो। तो ये उस टाइम पे ये सीन उठा था, वार्डन आके बोलता था कि ये गेम मत खेलना वरना फाइन पड़ेगा। तो हम लोग रूम बंद करके खेलते थे, क्योंकि जस्ट मेरे लाइक काफ़ी खेलता था मैं रात, क्योंकि मैं पहले क्लास अटेंड करता था मॉर्निंग, देन नून पे, उसके बाद लाइक जिम, हाँ लाइक 7 से लेके 1 AM तक, 7 से 2 AM तक।
प्रोफेशनल कैसे गए?
मैं जस्ट नॉर्मल ऐसे ही खेल रहा था, लाइक फन के लिए। टूर्नामेंट का मैंने देखा, टूर्नामेंट हो रहा था, कोई फर्स्ट टूर्नामेंट था, मैं देख रहा था कि यार ये लोग क्या चल रहा है। मतलब उस टाइम पे ई स्पोर्ट्स का किसी का आई डोंट थिंक सो किसी का इतना नॉलेज होगा अपार्ट फ्रॉम पीसी गेमर्स। आई थिंक बैक इन 2019 तो उस टाइम पे टूर्नामेंट चल रहा था, हम देख रहे थे। मेरे फ्रेंड, मतलब मैं अच्छा खेलता था अपने ग्रुप में, तो मेरा फ्रेंड भी अच्छा खेलता था, मैं भी अच्छा खेलता था। हम दोनों ने स्टार्टिंग में ट्राई करा, हम लोग नहीं कर पाए एक नॉर्मल टूर्नामेंट। फिर हमने देखा एक टूर्नामेंट हो रहा है, फिर मैंने एक रैंक पुश करी। रैंक हमारे गेमिंग में रैंक रहती है, कौन कर टॉप टियर रैंक रहती है, तो उस रैंक पे पहुंचे क्लासिक खेल के रात को। तो वो रैंक से फिर बहुत सारे प्लेयर्स मिले, तो वहाँ से फिर मेरे को समझा कि हाँ कॉम्पिटिटिव कुछ एक है। तो वहाँ से एक टीम बनाई, फिर जाके वो लास्ट मैंने बोला था, क्योंकि मैं 3rd ईयर में आ चुका था तब तक, मैं एंटर करने वाला था, तो मैंने बोला टीम को कि ये मेरा लास्ट टूर्नामेंट है, अगर हुआ तो ठीक, अदरवाइज तुम कंटिन्यू करो किसी एक प्लेयर को लेके, मैं अपना करियर पे फोकस करूँगा। तो वो टूर्नामेंट मेरे लिए चला गया, क्योंकि मेरे साथ लक था, क्या था, वो टूर्नामेंट हम जीत ही गए, वो रीजन ही जीत गए हम, पूरा साउथ एशिया रीजन। तो वो टूर्नामेंट से मेरा फिर करियर स्टार्ट हुआ कि हाँ अभी इसमें, फिर मैंने सोचा कुछ है इसमें, तो तब मैंने भी अपना टाइम दिया।
Sensei and MJ are two of the most successful professional gamers in India. They've won local and international tournaments and have an insane fan following in the gaming cult. Like many from the world of sports, quite a few players in the gaming world also come from small towns across India, where a massive penetration of mobile phones and the internet has matched a growing craze for esports. Sensei and the entire team lives in a 4-storied building in Navi Mumbai called a gaming house. It looks like a plush boys' hostel and functions like a boot camp. The team and the house are managed by a company called Revenant Esports. It seems like a lazy weekday afternoon when we reach Revenant House, but all the players are mentally gearing up. There's a tournament in the evening. We see walls full of gaming messages and anime graffiti. Table tennis and pool tables, dart boards, knockers shaped like gaming consoles on doors, and of course, a gaming room full of wires, plugs, and pillows, each belonging to a separate player, propped up on which their hands conquer several brutal wars every day on their mobile screens. Every player, every day, on average, plays 7 to 8 hours. Of course, with breaks, they tell me.
हमारा स्केड्यूल जो रहता है लाइक अराउंड 10:30 या वी वेकअप अराउंड 10:30। सो उसके बाद 1 आवर हम लोग अपना थोड़ा पर्सनल टाइम रहते हैं। देन फ्रॉम 12 तक हम लोग नीचे आ जाते हैं अपने गेमिंग रूम में, तो थोड़ा प्रैक्टिस ड्रिल्स करते सब लोग, अपना ट्रेनिंग ग्राउंड या कोई मैचेस खेलता है क्लासिक नॉर्मल। देन 1:30 से हमारे मैचेस रहते हैं, तो नॉर्मल टूर्नामेंट हो तो टूर्नामेंट, या फिर नॉर्मल स्क्रीम्स प्रैक्टिस, वो चलता है अराउंड 9 या 9:30 तक।
It's like any other profession. For the inhabitants of Revenant House, all play is work. And of course, it pays well.
फिगर वाइज बता देता हूँ आपको, लाइक अगर T1 में कोई प्लेयर आता है नया, तो अराउंड लाइक 50 to 50 स्टार्टिंग रहता है, 50K पर मंथ है। बाकी उसके एक्सपीरियंस विद टाइम वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में मेंशन होता है सबके अपना, तो फिर वो ग्रो होता रहता है।
मतलब ऐसे एक एवरेज मान लो, जो T1 प्लेयर्स है उनकी 1 लाख एवरेज मान लो सैलरी।
उसके अलावा ब्रांड डील्स एंड टूर्नामेंट विनिंग्स जो रहती है,
और स्ट्रीमिंग डील्स वगैरह किसी को मिलती है, ब्रांड डील्स और प्राइज पूल अलग जो टूर्नामेंट्स खेलते हैं, ये सब।
व्हाट आर द ब्रांड डील्स दैट यू हैव डन सेंसे? आपकी टी शर्ट पे भी कुछ नाम लिखे हैं।
तो ऐसे तो मैंने थोड़ा बहुत करे ही हैं, जैसे आपको दिख रहे होंगे प्यूमा, साइबर्ट और क्रियो, और मैंने जेब्रॉनिक्स के साथ करा हुआ है। रेवेनेंट से ही आते हैं, मतलब और जो रहती है वही प्लेयर्स को मोस्टली ब्रांड डील वगैरह दिलाते हैं।
What is the highest prize money right now?
प्राइज मनी अभी जो करंटली चल रहा है उसमें आई थिंक फर्स्ट प्राइज अभी तक हाईएस्ट 1 CR गया है, एंड स्प्लिट रहता है, लाइक फर्स्ट प्राइज 40 लाख, सेकंड प्राइज 20 लाख, वो डिवीजन होता रहता है।
When you guys say prize pool, MJ, you mean
No, prize pool means like like proper like complete tournament. Like total 16 teams खेलती हैं टूर्नामेंट में, तो वो completely 1 करोड़ उनके बीच में split होगा.
okay, guys? I also wanted to understand there are these tournaments that you play here in the gaming rooms, but there are also these live or LAN tournaments for which you have to travel a lot. How hectic are those? Like एक से ज़्यादा होते हैं दिन में, कैसा रहता है?
स्टार्ट लाइक ऑडियंस लैन तो काफ़ी अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस रहता है क्योंकि सारे लोग चेयर कर रहे हैं, आप लोग खेल रहे हो, और ज़्यादा मज़ा तब आता है जब लाइक आप इंडिया को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हो, और तो वो कंट्री वाला एक अच्छा फील आता है कि हम अपने नेशन को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं एक अच्छे स्टेज पे, और उतना प्रेशर भी रहता है कि परफॉर्म करना है.
So there is quite a bit of mental stress, right?
एक्चुअली आजकल क्या है कि बहुत सारे टूर्नामेंट्स होते हैं, एक ख़त्म हुआ नहीं कि आपको दूसरा स्टार्ट हो गया. और अब तो लैन होते हैं, तो ऐसे भी नहीं कि आप घर से बैठ के खेल रहे हो, आपको अलग अलग जगह ट्रैवल करना होता है. फिर अगर आपको 1-2 दिन का ब्रेक है, फिर आपको फिर से किसी और जगह निकलना है, तो फिजिकल हेल्थ में उतना मतलब अफेक्ट नहीं करता क्योंकि हम सब यंगस्टर्स हैं, यंग है इसमें सारा. लेकिन मेंटल हेल्थ में बहुत फ़र्क पड़ता है, ब्रेक नहीं मिलते उतने प्लेयर्स को, मतलब बहुत हेक्टिक हो जाता है प्लेयर्स के लिए. अब लैन हो रहे हैं तो मतलब 1 महीने में बैक टू बैक हो रहे हैं लैन्स वगैरह, और ब्रेक कम मिल रहे हैं. 1 महीने में जैसे 2 लैन हो जा रहे हैं, आपको अलग अलग जगह ट्रैवल करना है. बीच में से तो ऐसे भी लैन हो रहे हैं जैसे जिसमें ब्रेक ही नहीं है, एक लैन खत्म, अगले दिन से अगला लैन शुरू.
तो तब रेवेनेंट आपकी जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है या जो आप गेमर्स ऑर्ग बोलते हो, वो हेल्प करती है?
मतलब हमारी तो और बहुत सपोर्ट करती है, लेकिन कुछ और जो सपोर्ट नहीं करती उन पर और प्रेशर आता है क्योंकि तुम्हें पता है तुम अपना पूरा ट्राई कर रहे हो और उसके बाद भी अगर तुम परफॉर्म नहीं कर पा रहे हो, और फिर पीछे से तुम्हें कोई बोल रहा है तुम अच्छा खेलो, तो फिर मतलब ज़्यादा प्रेशर आता है उन टीम को.
और जैसे टीम्स टूटती है, जैसे रेवेनेंट भी काफी बार टूटा है, काफी बार बना है, इज इट ऑल्सो बिकॉज कंपटीशन ज्यादा पैसे ऑफर करता है टॉप प्लेयर्स को? एंड हैव यू रिसीव्ड एनी ऑफ दोज ऑफर्स?
मतलब मुझे तो आए हैं, मुझे काफ़ी ऑफर आए, लेकिन मैंने कहा मतलब ऐसा सिर्फ पैसों के लिए नहीं खेला, क्योंकि मुझे हमेशा से मेरे पास टीम बढ़िया थी. जितने भी प्लेयर्स थे मेरे पास बहुत अच्छे प्लेयर थे, समझदार थे, मैच्योर थे, हम्बल थे, तो मैंने टीम के साथ स्टिक करना हमेशा प्रीफर करा है. और बाकी मतलब ई स्पोर्ट्स में तो कॉमन है कि किसी को ज़्यादा अगर कोई अच्छा खेलता है, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल अभी मेरे एक टीममेट है अपोलो, वो अच्छा खेल रहा है, कोई टीम देखेगी भाई इसने अच्छा परफॉर्म करा, इसको थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा पैसे डाल के इसे बुला लेते हैं, लेकिन अपोलो नहीं जाएगा. ऐसा
क्यों नहीं जाएगा?
अपोलो को हमने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में फंसा रखा है. नहीं.
MJ, you guys are so young and already quite successful. कहाँ तक और कब तक एक गेमर का ये सक्सेस रेट चल सकता है? हाउ लॉन्ग डज वन स्टे एट द पिनेकल?
आई थिंक ई स्पोर्ट्स का जो शेल लाइफ है वो काफ़ी कम है एज़ कम्पेयर टू स्पोर्ट्स. आई थिंक आप खेलोगे अराउंड 10 ईयर्स या मैक्स टू मैक्स 10 ईयर्स. अगर अच्छा करते हो 10 ईयर्स बहुत ज़्यादा है, क्योंकि मेरे को भी आई थिंक 4 या 5 ईयर्स होने को है. क्योंकि मोबाइल गेमिंग में ऐसा है कि पीसी गेम्स में भी ऐसा ही है, क्योंकि आपका आपके रिफ्लेक्सेस होते हैं वो स्लो होते जाते हैं विद टाइम. और यंग टैलेंट भी आई थिंक 30 के बाद, इंडिया में तो मैंने अभी तक नहीं देखा मोबाइल गेमर कोई. आई थिंक एक ही प्लेयर खेले हैं, वो भी एज एन IGL खेले हैं. और अभी जिस PGMM में मैं हूँ अभी आई थिंक 25-26 मैक्स है, मतलब टीम अदर टीम्स में. तो हम लोग ऐसे एक दूसरे को बोलते हैं कि अभी हमारी एज होती जा रही है, बढ़ते जा रहे हैं.
Why is age a factor? क्योंकि आप तो फिजिकली भी प्रेजेंट नहीं हो. इट्स नॉट
एज फैक्टर इसलिए भी आता है क्योंकि आप जैसे यंग होते हो ना, आपके फिंगर, जैसे हम लोग क्लॉ फिंगर वाइज खेलते हैं, लाइक क्लॉ 4 फिंगर 3 फिंगर क्लॉ, तो मूवमेंट पे काफ़ी फ़र्क पड़ता है विद टाइम. जैसे मैं भी अपना लाइक ऐसे कंपेयर करूँ अपने आप को अपने 21 वाले प्ले स्टाइल थे, तो उस टाइम पे मेरे रिफ्लेक्स काफ़ी फास्ट थे, अभी भी हैं, बट वो वाला अलग ही था कि लाइक आपको पता है अगर आप ऐसे भी मूव करोगे तो वो हेड पे लगेगा एनिमीज़ के. अभी ग्राइंड करके मतलब हो जाता है, ऐसा नहीं है, बट ग्राइंड थोड़ा ज़्यादा लगता है. तो अगर एज बढ़ती है तो उतना ज़्यादा ग्राइंड भी करना पड़ता है एक्स्ट्रा. और मेन ये है कि यंग टैलेंट काफ़ी ज़्यादा आ रहा है, उनके साथ कोप अप करने के लिए, क्योंकि अगर आपको सस्टेन करना है ई स्पोर्ट्स में तो सबसे बेस्ट है कि आप यंग टैलेंट के साथ कोप अप करो. जो भी यंग टैलेंट है आप वो देखो वो क्या कर रहा है, अगर आप उसके लेवल तक का कर सकते हो तो आप अच्छा करोगे आगे तक.
सो व्हाट आफ्टर दिस देन?
2-3 साल बाद विल सी. अगर कोचिंग में हुआ तो कोचिंग में, तो कोच करेंगे किसी टीम को, फिर देखते हैं, वरना बाकी आगे क्या रहता है.
Why are there so few female gamers?
मेरे हिसाब से ना इसमें मतलब होनी चाहिए फीमेल्स, क्योंकि एट द एंड मतलब ये सिर्फ आपको हाथ से खेलना, दिमाग से खेलना है. बॉडी फीचर उन्हें अलग नहीं है खेलने के लिए, तो आप खेल सकते हो, कोई भी खेल सकती है, लेकिन आई डोंट नो, मतलब उनके दिमाग में कुछ ऐसा बैठ गया कि नहीं जा सकते, या आप स्किल इशू कह सकते हो कि उतने स्किल्स नहीं है कि एक बॉयज टीम के साथ खेल सकती है। बाहर में होता है, बाहर में जैसे किसी बॉयज टीम में एक लड़की भी होती है जो खेलती है, बाहर भी होता है, लेकिन आई डोंट नो क्या सीन है, वो तो प्रॉपर एक उसका एनालिसिस करना पड़ेगा कि ऐसा क्यों होता है, लेकिन होना चाहिए, मैं तो सपोर्ट करता हूँ।
Unlike what Sensei says, it's not a skill problem, but very clearly an attitude, mental block, and opportunity problem. Here's Millie, who's been playing for 7 years.
There is no opportunity, not no opportunity, but less opportunities for female in esports section. See, as a female, it's something stereotyped that females can't play good. They are not good at games, even in sports as well. They don't treat female as equal to male. If I play good, people will be appreciative, but if I will play bad in like one game, I'll get trolled. They'll call me noob and everything, just because it comes with my tag. Like if I'm a female, I'll be noob. Do you guys know the meaning of noob? Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing.
No, but I feel like there are so many tournaments happening in a day or in a week as we speak. There are so many online, offline tournaments happening. Lately, LAN events are becoming so popular. So why do you think that there's no opportunity?
I mean, have you ever seen any girl playing in any LAN? They don't give chance when they are in a team. They expect certain thing. Or ladkiya somewhere, they're very sensitive. Not everyone, I'm not stereotyping anything, but not everyone is sensitive, but ऐसा माइंडसेट है कि अभी हम लड़की है, इसको कुछ बोल नहीं सकते गुस्से में. सो दे प्रेफर अ बॉय टू बी इन देयर टीम देन अ गर्ल.
Would you want to participate in women's only tournament like SATUL?
I have, and I've like played well as well, but वो उधर तक ही होता है. Like women's only उधर खत्म हो गया. There is no future much.
Also, sexism, trolling, and downright harassment is quite rampant.
So nowadays, the game, I don't want to name the game, but the game we are playing, वहाँ पे बहुत लड़कियों को, they are scared to open their mics. Because as soon as they open their mic, they get trolled and they all, मतलब लड़के बहुत, वो कभी कभी बहुत बुरे लड़के आते हैं. It's like 5 in 1 match that you get those people, but because of that trauma, you are like scared to open mic. और बहुत लड़कियाँ डरती, even I am scared. But to be honest, I'm not one of those girls who will keep quiet. Some of the girls, they choose the smarter way of muting those people. There is option to mute the people who are harassing you, but I am not one of those. I like to give them back.
Here's Kashvi, another gamer.
There have been times where there's things like where people create groups and then they decide to target you together. These sort of hate groups, I feel like they exist across all industries. So there have been such groups that have targeted me and my friends in the past. Sometimes they would morph images of me. Sometimes they would just come together in a group and put a lot of me in comments, etc. Sometimes they would stalk me, and there was someone who would show up in person under my house.
How did you handle it when things got so extreme?
I have a legal team that I have on retainer, and they help me out with everything. Mumbai police have been extremely cooperative as well. We've actually been able to catch a lot of the online bullies and trolls, taken legal action against them, where more often than not, people feel like hiding behind the veil of the internet. They can do whatever they want, and then when they realize that there are actual repercussions for what they do, they feel they're extremely apologetic. This is online bullying and hatred is not just in gaming but across all industries. So I don't want to scare anyone that's going to get into it, but if you are going to start off your journey in gaming or in any online content creation, then you should sort of have a thick skin and be ready for both the sides of it.
But every gamer we spoke to, including the women, swore by their love for the sport. Channeling all of this into super lucrative businesses are entrepreneurs like Rohit Jigasia and Animesh Agarwal. Rohit discovered gaming in school while accompanying his brother to video game parlors. Animesh, a chartered accountant born and brought up in Guwahati, Assam, quit a plush job in Deloitte for the love of gaming. Rohit set up Revenant Esports, the company we spoke about at the beginning of the episode. It specializes in teams like the one which is Sensei, that do hardcore competitive gaming. Animesh, on the other hand, is the founder of Soul, stylized as SATUL, which works on making content creators and social media celebrities out of gamers. Here's Imanshi.
Rohit, how did you come to the idea of setting up of a gaming house?
So, it's been a great ride. I mean, I've been a gamer myself. That's the reason why, I came up with Revenant and the entire sort of idea. And coming to the boot camp, so it was actually made to make sure that, the players, if you want your team to function like a team, they need to stay together. They need to start trusting each other out game to build synergy in game. They need to, have like a friendly sort of a relationship. So that was the main focus of building the bootcamp. And obviously, it really helps with creating group content, documentaries and stuff. That's the reason why we came up with our bootcamp.
How do you choose these players and form your teams?
So generally what happens is, when there are these tournaments and stuff, there are a bunch of friends who play together. If there are 4 friends, maybe from 4 different cities, we pick that entire team up and we get them to represent Revenant. And then, we just solve all their short-term problems like infrastructure, devices, and whatnot.
So you come to know of these players from the tournaments that they participate in, no matter how...
Tournaments, scrims. We have a small sort of a scouting network. The team managers of the team also have people in their network who, basically know which players doing well, which players not doing well. For us, it's been easy also to attract players right now because people have seen the gaming house, people have seen, the sponsors and the brands we work with. So it's generally that, say, for example, if you're playing a tournament and a player is playing for another team and, they do incredibly well. So esports actually has this whole system like sports. There is a buyout fee. So we've actually done like 2 buyouts in the past where, we bought players off their contract from 2 teams earlier. So that is one way where, we just buy out a star. Sometimes, there are these young players who are making waves in these tournaments here and there. But with Revenant, most of the times the easy thing for us has been that, we pick up a whole team altogether.
And obviously, these are some of the best players in the business. What are the big games that you guys have won recently?
We recently, actually, like last week, we participated in this tournament, which was the Brawl Stars World Championship. We were the only Indian team to make it to the World Championship. We won around $30,000 there. The entire prize pool of the tournament was $750,000. So we recently even played the Sky Esports Championship 5.0. Our BGMI team had a crazy run in that tournament. Then, we came second. The prize pool for the tournament was over 2 crores. So, I can't really remember of the biggest tournament that we've really played, but we've played a lot.
Animesh, coming to you. Your company, SATUL, has been managing these gamers for so many years. What kind of revenue sharing arrangements do you have with your players?
How it works is that we give them a fixed salary. It's not a salary, it's actually a professional payment. They're not on our payroll. There are 3 sources of revenue for them. One is the prize pool, which is like the most important factor for them. In our org, we do anything between 20 to 40%. In some orgs, if there's a very, very high salary, if they have signed a retainer deals means you pay for the entire year and you say, all of your rights are with me. Like everything. I'll take all of your income, but I'll give you a big chunk of money at the beginning. Such deals are also very common. Usme generally it's like 80-20, wherein the player would get only 20% and the org would try to recoup the money. Second source of revenue is sponsorships. There are 2 types of sponsorships. One is team sponsorship, wherein a brand comes to me and tells me I want to sponsor Team Soul. Now, when they say I want to sponsor Team Soul, the obligation is purely with me because they want to sponsor my brand and not the players. Players have nothing to do with it. Usme generally no money is passed on to the player. Third thing is a brand comes to me and says I want to sponsor this player. And that's when, we have a rev share with them. And that could also range between, that's also dependent on the salary. If they're on a good salary, we'll take more. If they're on a less salary, then we'll give them more. So that's how it works. These are the key source of revenue. 2020 to 2023 mid, there was a very good source of streaming platform revenue, which has now seen a decline, obviously, because capital fund has dried up. The contracts have ended. Like there are no streaming contracts in the Indian industry anymore. Yeah, it's that bad. Yeah, this is like something I can say publicly. It's very bad.
Animesh says that the slowdown in streaming has caused a 20% dent in his company's revenue. But of course, the absolute numbers continue to be massive. No other sport in the world thrives on digital presence as much as gaming. Millions of gamers take to streaming those games on YouTube. They become performers in their own right, celebrities. In fact, it's so lucrative that streamers very often wean away from competitive gaming. They become social media influencers, making lifestyle videos, following viral dance trends, the works. For years, Animesh has been training his team of gamers for just that.
For me, I felt that my entire job during this entire process of converting my creators from esports players sitting in a room inside their house playing game 12 hours a day was to give them the hunger and to, वो होता है ना खून चखा देना कि what's the level at which we can go. I mean, like if you are sharing the same space at the then Bhuvan Bums and Ashish Chancellani and Amit Bhadanas, why can't we be them in a different industry? So I think it was more of having a looking forward vision कि आपको 2 साल बाद कहाँ पहुँचना है, and the same vision that I had to instill it in my creators, and hence I had to take that step wherein I put it in them that with your esports, with your competitive gameplay, it's very important that you start working as a social figure.
Becoming social media influencers gives gamers a prolonged lease of professional life after their usually short professional competitive gaming careers. And the money and endorsements in this phase are way higher. While core gamers usually get mobile and laptop brands and at best a sports apparel company to back them, gamers turned social media personalities sell everything from Mama Earth to Nykaa to Maybelline to Kit Kat to protein supplements. The wealth is evident. A Porsche stands outside the SHUL house. Inside are large LED posters of famous games, high stacks of expensive sneakers. I see a katana sword on a shelf, and a very premium massage recliner gathers dust on the side. The gamers have individual pads with huge monitors. A light outside each door beeps onto the word live when they're live streaming. There is a dog, a turtle, and a cat. Animesh's office is painted like the inside of a computer chip. I see more expensive sneakers there, and a whole range of video equipment, cameras, tripods, lights. Now remember Sensei spoke about a lakh in monthly salary plus endorsements? Well, Animesh's top players / streamers / content creators
raking in $1 million to $1.5 million every year is not a big deal. It's that big. If you look at an average mid-sized creator working with 8-bit between 500K to I would say $1.5 million, doing $200K worth of business is not big. That's how big gaming is.
Naturally, the awareness and acceptance around gaming is growing. Here's Saloni Sehgal, founding general partner at India's first gaming venture fund, Lumikai.
In India now, and there's this great study by HP, which is saying that more and more parents are understanding and embracing games as a career option. Earlier, people was always games are a waste of time, right? There was a lot of social stigma against if you spend too much time playing games. That's altering now. Because also there are games which can be educational. There are games which increase cognitive ability. Doctors are playing games to increase hand-eye coordination. Defense professionals have used games as a way of battle simulations, right? So there is a lot more mainstream acceptance now of what games and gaming experience have to offer, which I think is a very big shift from previous years.
Sure, we are just a fraction of the massive $300 billion global gaming industry, which is bigger than TV and bigger than OTTs.
But what we are seeing is essentially the growth in Western markets is slowing down, and the growth in Asian markets, especially markets like India, are exceedingly growing fast. And that's what's essentially propelling and getting people excited about the India market.
Gaming entrepreneurship in India is also growing massively. With the government imposing a 28% GST on real money gaming, many companies in that space are dying. And non-money game developers are rushing to fill that space. 4 years ago, there were 25 game development studios in India. Now, according to Lumikai and Saloni, there are more than 1,600. These are companies like Bombay Play, Studio Sira, which develops games themed on Indian mythology and folklore.
Alongside that, we've backed companies like Iloilo, which is doing social gaming. It's a social gaming platform which is meant for disrupting television. So, they have 35 million users on their platform, building for Bharat with 50% of their audience being women. And they run 20,000 plus live shows, including game shows, quiz shows throughout their day, which is now becoming almost a replacement for television for tier 2, tier 3 audiences. And that's also a company which falls within our spectrum of the way we look at gaming, because that's a platform play.
Saloni says that the government has recognized the potential of this space too, and hence the regulatory landscape is changing for the better.
I think what's happened is the government has come out and recognized that the games industry is actually quite wide. So there is a breadth and a depth to it. Further on, they've recognized esports as a sport, and that has now also been made into a medal sport. We also now have the Animation and Video Games Commission, the AVGC Commission, which hopefully, there is draft policy out there. There are draft recommendations. We have contributed to that as well. And, we hope that it is commissioned and it is put into place over the course of the next year, because that lays out a framework for gaming as an industry being at the vanguard of innovation. So I believe that's an all-encompassing policy which will hopefully really help that industry grow.
But of course, it's very, very early days before India can dream of becoming a global leader in this space. Countries like Turkey and Israel have taken massive leaps. Sean Hunil-son, the India head of South Korean gaming company Krafton, told me that the government needs to give many tax incentives and holidays to gaming publishers like the ones given in South Korea. Saudi Arabia, the latest, hottest sporting destination, is now planning an esports World Cup. But before that, India needs to look at the huge growth and the number of super talented gamers that have come up in far-flung cities and towns across the country. First and foremost, they need to be brought into the mainstream.
So the point is, I cannot do it alone. It has to be an infrastructure that is set in place. We are SAT World, India's one of the most popular teams. I cannot experiment with my esports lineup. मैं किसको हायर करूंगा? वही प्लेयर जो मुझे टॉप टियर टूर्नामेंट में दिखा. ये हम लोग सबको पता है कि he is not the only one who is skilled. There is someone sitting at home somewhere. But for me, it's impossible. I could do state level tournaments. I could do everything. But still, gaming इतनी बड़ी है कि उसके लिए it has to be a government based structure. मतलब esports federation setup होगा, सब कुछ होगा, just like how it works with the sports body. We have SAI, Sports Authority of India, working with every sport. We need them to work with e-sport as well. जो district level setup है वो तो गवर्नमेंट ही करेगा ना. वैसे तो स्पोर्ट्स बड़ी है. 83 क्रिकेट के बाद गवर्नमेंट ने क्रिकेट में इंटरेस्ट लिया, तो आज इंडिया में क्रिकेट इतनी बड़ी है. हम लोग भी कुछ करेंगे वैसा, बिकॉज नाउ इट्स एशियन गेम्स, ओलंपिक्स, सब जगह e-sports है. At some point when our players who have the full, our players means India's players who have full potential to achieve something, वो करेंगे. It's about being patient. Like whatever I'm saying, it's about, I know it's a 10-year game. It could be a 15-year game. It's not a tomorrow game. It's not a 2-year game.
Well, it's definitely not. And whether gaming in India evolves into something stronger and more formidable in the next decade or dies out just like another fad will be interesting to see. That's it for today. You were listening to this episode on The Morning Brief. Thank you, Himanshi, for making this happen. This episode was produced by Sumit Pandey and Rajas Naik. We hope you liked this one. Do share and subscribe if you did. The Morning Brief drops every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday on an audio platform of your choice. Keep listening. This is your host, Anirban Chaudhary, signing off. Have a good rest of the week. All clips used in this episode belong to their respective owners. Credits are mentioned in the description.